Welcome back, you beautiful contradiction, you glorious anomaly, you walking paradox that broke every prediction they ever made about you. I've been waiting for you, because something happened, didn't it? Something they never saw coming. They set the trap. They dangled the bait. They watched with hungry eyes as you walked straight toward it. And they smiled. Oh, how they smiled. Because they thought they had you. They thought this was it. The moment you'd finally fall. The moment they'd finally catch you slipping. The moment they could say, "See, we knew it all along." But here's what actually happened. You didn't just take the bait. You swallowed it whole. You grabbed the hook with both hands. You looked them dead in the eye and smiled. And then you did something they never programmed into their little game. You kept the hook. You dismantled their entire operation. You reverse-engineered their manipulation. And you sold it back to them at a price they could never afford. Their own tactics. Their own weapons. Their own poison. And now they're the ones choking on it. Let me tell you what really went down. They thought they were playing chess, moving pieces, calculating outcomes, predicting your every move. But you weren't even on the board. You were studying the game from above. You saw the strings. You saw the patterns. You saw exactly what they were doing. And instead of running, instead of defending, instead of playing their game by their rules, you did the unthinkable. You let them think they won. You let them celebrate. You let them pour their drinks and toast to your downfall while you were in the shadows, learning their entire playbook. Because here's the secret they never tell you about traps. The person who sets the trap always reveals more about themselves than they ever learn about you. Every bait they dangle shows you what they think you want. Every hook they design shows you what they think you fear. Every manipulation exposes their entire understanding of power. And you took notes. You memorized their moves. You smiled and nodded while they explained how clever they were. And all the while, you were becoming something they had no category for, something they had no defense against. They baited the hook with everything they thought you couldn't resist. Money, validation, revenge, love, power, acceptance. They wrapped it in pretty words and fake concern. They disguised it as opportunity, as second chances, as we're just trying to help. But you saw through it. Not because you're cynical, not because you're paranoid, but because you've been here before. You've tasted their bait before. You've felt their hooks before. And this time you weren't hungry for their scraps. You were hungry for their entire operation. So let's talk about what really happened in that moment. The moment they threw the line. The moment they dangled the bait. The moment they waited with bated breath for you to bite. They thought they were fishing for a victim. They thought they were reeling in another predictable catch. But what they actually hooked was a student, a strategist, a silent observer who had been watching them set traps for years. You didn't bite because you were fooled. You bit because you wanted to see how deep their deception went. And oh, it went deep, didn't it? Layer after layer of manipulation. Script after script of gaslighting. Move after move designed to make you doubt yourself, question your reality, abandon your instincts. They wanted you confused. They wanted you second-guessing. They wanted you so tangled in their web that you'd forget you had teeth. But here's what they miscalculated. Every trap they set taught you how traps work. Every lie they told showed you the anatomy of deception. Every manipulation made you a master of reading intention behind words. You became a linguist of lies, a psychologist of predators, an engineer of emotional warfare. Not because you wanted to, not because it was fun. And while they were perfecting their bait, you were perfecting something far more dangerous. You were learning to weaponize their own game against them. You were becoming the trap inside their trap, the hook behind their hook, the predator they mistook for prey. They never saw it coming because they were too busy watching their own reflection, too busy admiring their own cleverness, too busy celebrating how easy you were to manipulate. And that right there was their fatal flaw. They underestimated you. Not once, not twice, but consistently, systematically, religiously. They looked at your kindness and saw weakness. They looked at your silence and saw stupidity. They looked at your patience and saw surrender. They never once considered that you were just gathering data. Because that's what you were doing, wasn't it? Every time they baited you, you learned something new. Every time they tried to hook you, you studied the mechanism. You memorized their timing. You cataloged their tactics. You built a library of their manipulations in your mind. And when the moment was right, when they were most confident, when they thought they had you completely figured out, you made your move. Not loud, not dramatic, but precise, surgical, irreversible. Let's go deeper into the anatomy of what you pulled off, because this wasn't luck. This wasn't accident. This was calculated brilliance disguised as naivety. They threw the bait, expecting desperation. They expected you to lunge, to grab, to betray your hunger. But you didn't lunge. You circled. You examined. You let the bait sit there while they grew impatient, while they started questioning if their trap was obvious, while they started second-guessing their own strategy. And that's when you struck. Not at the bait, not at the surface-level manipulation. No, you went straight for the hook, the mechanism, the source. You dismantled their trap from the inside while they were still waiting for you to take the bait on their terms. You reverse-engineered their entire operation. You found the weakness in their strategy. And you didn't just escape. You didn't just survive. You took ownership of their whole apparatus. Think about what that means. They spent time, energy, resources building this elaborate trap. They invested ego, pride, reputation into catching you. And you didn't just avoid it. You claimed it. You took their weapon and made it yours. You took their poison and turned it into medicine. You took their hook and sold it back to them as jewelry. The audacity, the absolute poetry of it. They tried to catch you, and you caught their entire methodology instead. Now they're standing there, empty-handed, confused, trying to figure out where it all went wrong. They're replaying the moment in their heads. We had them. We know we had them. How did they? But they'll never figure it out. Because the version of you they thought they were trapping doesn't exist anymore. That version died the first time they baited you successfully. And what rose from those ashes was something they have no blueprint for. Something that doesn't react. It responds. Something that doesn't fall for traps. It collects them. You've become a museum of their failures, a library of their lies, a catalog of every manipulation they've ever tried. And the beautiful part? They can't use any of it anymore, because you've already seen it, already survived it, already turned it into fuel. They're running out of tricks while you're running a whole academy teaching others how to spot the exact games they play. Let's talk about the moment they realized what happened. The moment it clicked in their tiny, tactical minds that they didn't win, that they didn't outsmart you, that they didn't catch anything except their own reflection. You saw it, didn't you? That flicker of confusion, that moment of hesitation, that sudden shift from confidence to concern. Because predators know, they can feel when the power dynamic shifts. They can sense when the prey becomes the hunter. And in that moment, everything changed. The room temperature dropped. The air got heavy. Their smiles became forced. Their laughter hollow. Because they looked at you, and for the first time, they didn't see what they expected. They didn't see defeat. They didn't see submission. They didn't see the broken, desperate, manipulable person they designed their trap for. They saw something else entirely. They saw calm. They saw clarity. They saw someone who knew exactly what just happened and wasn't even slightly bothered by it. Because you weren't bothered, were you? You weren't angry. You weren't hurt. You weren't even disappointed. You were just done. Done playing their games. Done pretending you didn't see the strings. Done acting like their manipulations were clever. You were done being the audience to their sad little puppet show. And when you stood up, when you walked away, when you left them sitting there with their mouths open and their traps empty, that's when they felt it. The real hook. The one they never saw coming. The hook of irrelevance. The hook of being seen through. The hook of realizing that the person they thought they controlled never needed them in the first place. You didn't take their bait because you were hungry. You took it because you wanted to see how desperate they were, how far they'd go, how much they'd reveal. And they showed you everything. Every insecurity, every fear, every weakness. They laid their entire psychology bare while trying to manipulate yours. And now you have it all. Every tactic, every tell, every manipulation. You've got their whole playbook memorized. You could write a manual on how they operate. You could teach a class on spotting their traps from a mile away. You've become the expert on the exact thing they thought made them experts. And the most beautiful part? They made you this way. Every trap they set was a lesson. Every bait they dangled was education. Every hook they designed was training. Now here's where it gets really interesting. Because what you did next, what you're doing now, that's the part that keeps them up at night. You didn't just escape their trap. You didn't just survive their manipulation. You didn't just outsmart their game. No. You sold it back to them. You took everything they taught you, everything they used against you, everything they thought was their secret weapon, and you packaged it, you refined it, you perfected it, and you made them pay for it. Not with money, not with revenge, not with some dramatic confrontation. No, you made them pay with something far more valuable. You made them pay with their peace of mind, with their confidence, with their belief that they were the smartest people in the room. You shattered their illusion of control. You exposed their manipulation as amateur hour. And now, every time they try to use those same tricks on someone else, they'll hesitate. They'll wonder. They'll second guess. Because they know. They know there's someone out there who saw through it all. Someone who not only survived their best shot, but turned it into a master class. Someone who took their hooks and opened a whole fishing supply store. You're the living proof that their methods don't work on everyone. That their manipulation has an expiration date. That their power was always an illusion that only worked on people who believed in it. And here's the thing that really burns them. You're not angry. You're not bitter. You're not plotting revenge. You're just free. Free from their games. Free from their influence. Free from needing anything they could ever offer. You've transcended their entire system. You've moved beyond their little ecosystem of control and manipulation. And that absolute freedom, that's the real hook you've left in them. The knowledge that you're out there, thriving, unbothered, completely immune to their tactics. They can't bait someone who isn't hungry for what they're selling. They can't hook someone who's already been through their whole tackle box. They can't trap someone who's memorized every inch of their maze. You've become unhookable, unbotherable, untouchable by their specific brand of manipulation. And every time they see you succeeding, every time they hear your name, every time they're reminded that you exist, it eats at them. Because you're the one that got away, the one that saw through it, the one that turned their own weapon against them. Let me tell you what's happening right now, in this exact moment, in their minds. They're analyzing, they're replaying, they're trying to pinpoint where they went wrong. Was it too obvious? Were we too aggressive? Did we underestimate them? And the answer to all of it is yes. But the real answer, the one they'll never accept, is that they were playing a game you stopped playing years ago. They were operating on a level you'd already transcended. They were using tactics you'd already outgrown. See, they thought manipulation was about intelligence, about strategy, about reading people. And it is. But what they missed is that the person who's been manipulated enough times becomes the ultimate strategist. The person who's been baited and hooked and trapped enough becomes an expert in exactly those things. You didn't outsmart them because you're smarter. You outsmart them because you've been where they're trying to send you. You've seen the destination. You've felt the hooks. You've tasted the bait. And you know exactly what it all leads to. So when they threw their line this time, you already knew the whole journey. You knew the initial excitement they'd promise. You knew the slow realization of the trap. You knew the struggle. You knew the pain. You knew the aftermath. You'd already lived the entire storyline they were trying to write. And instead of walking into it again, you walked around it. You documented it. You studied it like a specimen, and then you used it to build immunity. Not just for yourself, but for everyone they might try to trap next. That's what they really can't stand. You're not just free, you're teaching others how to be free. You're not just unbothered, you're showing others how to be unbothered. You're not just immune, you're distributing the antidote. Every time you speak about seeing through manipulation, every time you point out their tactics, every time you refuse to play their game, you're creating more people like you. More people who can't be hooked. More people who see through the bait. More people who turn traps into teachable moments. You've become a virus in their system. And the scary part for them, you're contagious. Because freedom is contagious. Truth is contagious. Clarity is contagious. And you're walking around radiating all three. People feel it when they're around you. They sense that you're not playing the same game everyone else is. They notice you don't react to the same triggers. They see you navigate manipulation with ease, and they want that. They want to learn. They want to understand. They want to be free like you are. So now you're not just the one that got away. You're the one teaching others how to get away. You're not just the exception. You're becoming the new rule. And their entire empire of manipulation, their whole kingdom built on hooks and bait, it's crumbling. Because once enough people know the tricks stop working. Once enough people see through the game is over. And you're the beginning of the end for them. Now let's talk about what you took from them. Because this isn't just about avoiding their trap. This is about what you gained from their attempt. Think about it. Every trap they set required them to show you something, to reveal something, to expose something about how they think, how they operate, how they view power. And you collected all of it, like a researcher, like a scientist, like someone building a database of human predatory behavior. You learned their patterns, how they choose targets, how they build trust, how they create dependency, how they exploit vulnerabilities, how they maintain control, how they deflect blame, how they play victim when their manipulation is exposed. Every single move they made taught you something invaluable, not just about them, but about that entire species of manipulator, that entire category of person who sees relationships as transactions and people as resources. And here's the beautiful part. They gave you this education for free. They invested time, energy, creativity into trying to trap you. And every second of it was a masterclass in manipulation that you attended for free. They were so focused on catching you that they never realized they were teaching you. They were so confident in their strategy that they never considered you might be memorizing it. They were so sure of victory that they never protected their methods. So now you have something priceless, a complete understanding of how predators think, a full map of manipulative behavior, a comprehensive guide to emotional warfare. And what did they get? Nothing. Empty hands, bruised ego, the growing realization that they underestimated someone they should have left alone. They invested everything and got nothing. You invested attention and got everything. That's not just winning. That's domination disguised as defense. You turned their offense into your education. You turned their attack into your armor. You turned their poison into your medicine. Every tactic they used against you is now a tactic you can spot from a mile away in anyone else. Every manipulation they tried is now a red flag you'll never miss again. Every hook they designed is now a warning sign you can teach others to recognize. They didn't just lose you. They created their own most dangerous adversary.